everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, the way we do it over here, we get our shout outs out front, and then and only then we get into the podcast. So, y'all, hold on. I'm going to play this beautiful bean footage and we'll talk on the other side. All right, y'all, I want to give a quick shout out to all of the readers who just took the time out of their day to come through and support the channel. And first up is Miss Angela May. Angela is the best. She is. She has been with me for a while now, and she is always coming through to support. She's always in the comments. She always has such a kind and wonderful word in her comments. Yes. And she can go in sometime as well. So, yes, Angela is such an asset and such a big part of this community. So, thank you, Angela. Thank you for coming through. And PP VB60X came through. Yes, she did. She said sometime she has a problem in posting her comments, but she is always listening. She also said that the notification doesn't come through when I post. So if that's happening to you, maybe go in, unsubscribe, then resubscribe, and then turn on your notification bell again, because YouTube be playing some games. So PP-VB60X was just absolutely letting me in that it might be some monkey business going on. So that's what I told her. And if you having the same problem, y'all do that and see if that fixed the problem. But thank you, PP. Thank you so much for coming through. And thank you for the info. And my girl Tiger Mommy came through. Yes, she did. Tiger Mommy is everything, and she knows she's everything. She is always coming through. She's always supporting, and she is always sharing her knowledge. Yes, she is. She is so kind and so sweet, and I am so thankful she is a part of this community. So thank you, Tiger Mommy. Thank you for coming through. And Beverly Jackson 6875 came through. Yes, Beverly rides hard for the read. She does, and she is always coming through. She is always being supportive. She is a ride or die. Always in the comments, always sharing her knowledge as well. She is the best. She is. So thank you, Beverly. Thank you for the super thanks, and thank you for coming through and being here. I just want to thank everybody who decided to come through and show some love. Thank y'all. I really appreciate it. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is, and y'all know what I do when I am putting the read together. I hit these internet streets, and let me tell you, that is exactly where I have been. And y'all, I must say the streets are hot. They are hot because our favorite prince has touched down in the UK. Yes, he has. He is officially in country, and they are continuing to lose their minds. Those rags over there. I saw an article that old big head Matt Wilkerson that writes for the Scum, he had wrote and said that Charles had snapped on Harry. Why? Because Harry accepted his invitation to stay at Buckingham Palace. And so, because Harry didn't tell him right away, all of a sudden, he wants to snap on Harry and withdraw the invitation. But we all know why Harry waited to the last minute to accept it, and we also know why Harry accepted it. And we're going to talk about it a little later. And we're going to talk about Kitty. She was out and about, And I have finally figured out why Kitty did the three-peat challenge. Well, at least she decided to lie about it. And we're going to talk about that as well. And look like Charles and his horse is up to something you will be surprised about. And we're going to talk about that. And of course, we got a few other things we're going to talk about. Y'all know we always have other things sprinkled in there. So what y'all need to do, y'all need to lock in and understand. I'm not going to keep you long, but I will keep you entertained. And we're going to start with this. And here's our first picture of our favorite prince in country in the UK. Yes, it says Prince Harry is already in the UK. Let's go, Harry. Let's go, Spencer family. Yes, Harry has touched down. This squatty posted that same picture and said, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, has arrived in the UK to mark the 1 year to go milestone to the Invictus Games, Birmingham 2027. The Duke will also carry out engagements related to Well Child Charity and military charities and Scottish Little Soldiers. Yes, Harry is in the house. And this squatty posted that same picture and said, the prince has arrived unbroken, unbothered by the craziness because he already knew. All smiles as he should be, good King Harry. Yes, look at Harry's smile. Harry is unbothered. I love that. And this right here eats them up. They can't break him. They didn't make him, so they can't break him. Diana made him, and she made him tough. Look at that smile. Yes, I love it. And this squatty said, the smile you let off when you expose the plot. Diana's boy is unburdened. He looks so good. Love and Sunshine agrees with him. Yes, it does. It absolutely do. That smile is killing me. I'm telling you, it is killing me. And you know, I am a Harry fan and it's killing me. Can you imagine what it is doing to the haters? Oh, I am loving it. And also, I noticed that a lot of squatties are posting this picture and sending out prayers for Harry. It is a lot of people praying for Harry. This squatty said, God, I come before you seeking your divine protection surrounding Harry with your presence, shielding him from all harm, danger, evil, and everything that seeks to bring fear or confusion. Guide his every step. Grant him wisdom in every decision and lead him along the path you have prepared. It is some beautiful prayers being put out there for Harry. People are praying for Harry. Harry is prayed up, and they can mess with him if they want to. But I promise you, it's not going to go down like it did with Diana. And the big story of the day is that Harry accepted Charles's offer to stay at Buckingham Palace, and at the last minute, Charles rescinded that offer and said that he was not going to accommodate Harry at all. Now, this is from the LBC, and it says Prince Harry's visit in chaos. You know, I was watching Byron earlier today, and he made such a great point. This word crafting that they do out of Effingham Palace and Coppington Palace. Yes, they have really started to use wordcraft, meaning they're trying to use these buzzwords to create a narrative around Harry. And the narrative that they're trying to push is that Harry is creating chaos. Yes, he is being a disturbance, even though Harry has barely said anything. But they think they slick because they think that they're going to make up this narrative and basically paint this picture of chaos and destruction, and it's all Harry's fault. And this is why I love this first picture of Harry, because it shows him unbothered. It shows him minding his business. It shows him cool, calm, and collective, and nothing like the narrative that they are pushing. Yes, Harry's demeanor is absolutely exposing their plot to try to make Harry the troublemaker, to try to make Harry the chaos agent. Yes, make him the problem. So they're using these buzzwords like chaotic and chaos. But I digress. This article from the LBC says Prince Harry's visit in chaos. Buzzword, you can't stay. Palace tell disappointed Duke of Sussex as Archie and Lilibet stay at home with Meghan. Prince Harry was told on Saturday that he could not stay at Effingham Palace at least 36 hours before his own team announced he had accepted an offer to stay there. Now, this is the line that Charles is feeding to the flying monkeys in order for the flying monkeys to spoon feed it to the public, saying that they had told Harry that he couldn't stay 36 hours prior to him announcing that he had accepted. Now, if Harry actually did this, he is just playing the game like they play the game, but I don't believe Harry did this. This is a lie that Buckingham Palace, or should I say Effingham Palace, has put out to try to make Harry look bad. But it only makes them look bad. But I digress. It goes on to say, with less than 24 hours until Prince Harry's trip begins, there appears to have been a breakdown of communications between Harry and his father. Harry's spokesperson said this morning that he had formally accepted an invitation to stay at Buckingham Palace for part of his visit to London this week. However, sources close to the king said that this was untrue and that Harry had declined accommodations at the palace when first offered, saying it was unsuitable. Palace sources have said that every effort had been made to facilitate Harry's stay, and he had been asked to respond by the end of the week. Palace sources said Harry formally declined on Saturday morning, but later on Saturday he changed his mind and tried to accept the offer, but by then the staffing provisions were no longer available. Do you believe that? I don't believe that. But it goes on to say a spokesperson for Harry said it was disappointing the offer from the king had been withdrawn at the last moment, with the looming judgment in the Duke's case against Associated Newspaper on Tuesday given as the reason. Mmm, mmm. It says, as exasperation appears to grow on both sides, it is understood the Duke initially turned down the offer for himself and his family, who are no longer accompanying him to London on Saturday, before making a U-turn later in the day and asking to stay himself. I don't believe none of that. I don't. Y'all, I have just gotten to the point where I don't believe anything coming out of Effingham Palace or Coppington Palace, because they do nothing but lie. So I don't believe this. I don't. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but I don't believe this narrative that's coming out of Effingham Palace. I don't believe anything that comes out of Effingham Palace, because we know they all lie. And Charles is lying. They are lying. And I believe Harry is telling the truth. Why? Because Harry do not move through sources. He says what he has to say with his full chest. And that's exactly what he did, because Harry released a statement. A spokesperson for the Duke of Sussex said, following Ravak's decision not to provide security for his family, the Duke spent last week making alternative security arrangements. Once those arrangements were in place, he was able to formally accept the offer of accommodations for himself over the weekend. It is therefore disappointing that the offer has now been withdrawn, with Tuesday's judgment in the Associated Press Limited case cited as the reason. Harry is saying with his full chest that it wasn't about him not accepting and then coming back and accepting the accommodations. It's not about that. It is about the court case. Harry is saying that that's what they cited as the reason for withdrawing the offer. Yes, and Harry is not saying it through some kind of source. Harry is saying it with his full chest. Now, who do you believe? This mysterious palace source who is spoon feeding this narrative to the flying monkeys, a narrative that they probably sit around a conference table and came up with? Yes, they create narratives. They don't tell the truth. They never tell the truth. Harry tells the truth, and he doesn't use sources. He uses his spokesperson, and he says it with his full chest. And I also believe the reason this offer was withdrawn was the fact that Harry called their bluff. They never thought Harry would accept the offer, and he had turned it down. But I think Harry thought about that thing and said, you know what? I'm going to call their bluff. I'm going to expose them by accepting the offer for accommodations and see what they do. And they did exactly what everyone knew that they were going to do. They folded because the offer was never real. Because this was all to cover their arse, or should I say to cover Charles's arse, because he didn't want to look like the trash father that he actually is. And this was his way of trying to look like he actually cared about his son. And Harry called him on it, and he folded. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all agree with me that this offer was never real, or am I over my skis and over analyzing the situation? Because I tend to do that sometimes. But this is my opinion. I really think that Harry was playing chess while they were playing checkers, and Harry ended up exposing Charles to the world as the trash father we all who have been paying attention already knew he was. And now the world can see he is a trash father, he's a trash grandfather, he's a trash king, and he is a trash human being. And Harry's statement goes on and says Buckingham Palace has, however, been aware of the judgment since last Thursday. It is therefore unclear why, having formally accepted the accommodation offer, it has now been withdrawn at the last minute. Well, it was withdrawn at the last minute because it wasn't a real offer. They put that out there in order to try to make Charles look better. Like I said earlier, they had no idea that Harry would accept. And when he did, he exposed them. And then they had to come up with this weak lie saying that it was about the court case, a court case that they have known about ever since last Thursday. Yes, they told a very, very weak lie. Harry knew exactly what he was doing. Harry was playing chicken. If you don't know that game, look it up, because that's exactly what Harry was doing. Harry called their bluff and waited to see if they would fold, if they would flinch first. And you know what? They did exactly that. He exposed them and their fake narrative. that somehow they wanted to welcome him and provide him shelter. Harry knew better than that, and he exposed them. I bet you they are spitting cotton over there at Effingham Palace. You know they are, because they wasn't expecting the pushback. They always underestimate Harry. Harry was using one of his mother's old moves. Y'all remember in that interview, Princess Diana said you always have to confuse your enemies? That's exactly what Harry was doing. Harry was confusing them. And boy, did he confuse them. Because if you go back to that LBC article, Effingham Palace changed its reasoning for withdrawing accommodations for Harry. I mean, 2 or 3 times in the same article. Yeah, they absolutely did not think that Harry was going to move like he did. Harry's doing good so far. I'm loving this trip so far. Y'all tell me what y'all think. The squatty that posted this statement from Prince Harry said, I have mentioned before that Harry will refuse to allow Charles to lie about him to make him look bad. Case in point, Charles lied saying that Harry accepted too late. Harry came with a banger of a statement stating the facts. This is what the palace hates. They want to lie about Harry in peace and force Harry to lay down and take it like he used to back in the day. The difference is Harry won't allow them to do it anymore. This is why they hated Princess Diana, and the same reason why they hate Harry, because Harry fights back. Diana said in the interview that she would never go away quietly, that they would never be able to break her. And that is the reason why I believe they killed her. And Harry has that same spirit. But all I can say is, it ain't going to go down like it did for Diana. Because I'm going to say this for everyone to hear. If anybody touches one of those 12 hairs that Harry has left on top of his head, it's going to be a problem. I believe Charles hates both of his sons. He hates Harry, but he also hates Willie. He hates Harry because Harry fights back. And Harry has a lot of his mother in him. Even Harry says that. And he hates Willie because Willie bullies him. So this is a man who hates both of his sons. Tell me he is not trash. I'm just saying. But I digress. And this squatty said, we're now expected to believe that the High Court's judgment in Prince Harry's case against the publishers of the Daily Mail has suddenly thrown the palace into a panic because of concerns over the king's constitutional position. But here's the problem. According to Prince Harry's representative, the palace has known about the judgment since last Thursday. If they already knew what changed, they never believed Harry would actually accept the offer. That's exactly what I said. They never thought he would accept it. Harry played chicken and they flinched. It says it was never made in good faith. It was a public relation exercise, a bluff designed for appearances. Prince Harry called that bluff outrageous. No room for the fifth in line of succession to the British throne. Another dark cloud over the monarchy. Where's the lie? They have been exposed. Good job, Harry. And this squatty posted an article from Victoria Ward that says, Palace tells Harry you can't stay here. And this squatty posted that and said, the royals are liars, manipulators, and evil thugs. At the royal family, at Kensington Royal. You've just sealed your fate. There was never a real offer, just lies, hate, abuse, manipulation. Harry was never the problem. But Harry was happy to expose who really was the problem. He did it this time. He exposed them. And like I said, I bet they're over there at Effingham Palace spitting cotton. And this squad is talking about these so-called buzzwords like chaotic and chaos that they're trying to attach to Harry. And this squatty said Prince Harry has visited Nigeria, Jordan, Jamaica, China, Colombia, Ukraine, Japan, Rwanda, Mozambique, Singapore, Canada, just to name a few, with full security and zero drama. The minute he steps foot in the UK, the palace always put on a SHIT show. Shame. Exactly. All the chaos, all the SHIT that is being slung around is not Harry slinging it. It is Effingham Palace and Charles's flying monkeys is doing all of the SHIT flinging. Harry is just breathing and minding his business, and they are creating the chaos and wanting to make him be the one who is at the center of it. And this what he posted Chris Ship. Now, I don't know what has gotten into Chris Ship here lately, but it seems like he is not drinking the Kool-Aid like he used to from over there at Effingham Palace and Coppington Palace. Yes, it seems like he has cleared his head a bit, and now all of a sudden he can see things more clearly. Now, this is what he wrote about this whole situation of Charles refusing a room to his younger son. Chris Ship said this: it seems that tomorrow's High Court judgment on Harry and others' cases against the publisher of the Daily Mail has made folks nervous at the palace, concerned about the king's constitutional role. Then he came back and reposted himself and said this: I'm not sure why the son of the monarch can't stay in a room at Buckingham Palace when an independent judge hands down a ruling in a libel unconnected to the king. Does that mean Prince William had to live elsewhere when he sued various publishers and magazines over the years? Wow! Chris Ship has absolutely put the Kool-Aid down. I don't know when he might pick it up, if he ever picks it up again, but he has put it down, and his eyes are clear. He sees those people for what they are. He does. And it just might be a moment in time, but this moment in time, he sees them. Yes, he sees them. This squatty that reposted this said, nah, what has happened to Chris Ship? Did Charlene White give him some oxtails and magnums to give him a bit of a backbone? Wow, keep the truth coming. Yes, he has put the Kool-Aid down. Like I said, it just might be a moment in time, but boy, it's refreshing to see the scales fall from some of these flying monkeys' eyes and see that family for what it is. And they are nothing but a bunch of liars who are always on the bullshit. And this right here is a perfect example of Charles being on the bullshit. And this squatty posted, bizarre for a father to refuse to host his own son during a visit from overseas when the same father rehoused a notorious pedo bishop and supported him financially for years after he was exposed as a serial sex abuser and resigned as Bishop of Gloucester. Family values. Is this true? If you know if this is true or not, please put it in the comments, because I don't know a whole lot about this case with this Peter Ball. I know he was convicted of SAing 18 young men, and he had to resign as bishop. And he was pretty much ostracized. I think he went to prison as well. Correct me in the comments if that's true or not. But if this happened and Charles did all of this, because we talked about it yesterday, that it was found out as a part of a court case that Charles had wrote letters in support of Peter Ball, this horrific pedo and SAer. But I really don't want to believe that Charles is treating his baby child, his son, like this, and he went out of his way to rehouse this pedo and support him financially. But he can't go out of his way to offer a room in Effingham Palace for his son to stay. Now, I don't believe Harry would have actually stayed there because I believe Harry was calling his bluff. But he showed his hand, though, didn't he? And look at this. Y'all tell me if this is true. I don't know if it's true or not. Tell me in the comments. All I can say, if it is true, another receipt to support the fact that Charles is trash. This squatty said Charles would rather protect his pedo friends like Jimmy Savile and Bishop Peter Ball and his apist, racist, toothpaste squeezer lover, Michael Fawcett, than to do anything for his own son. Now, y'all, the word on the curb is a lot of these aristos, their gate swings both ways, if you know what I mean. And a lot of the men really enjoy occasionally having a pulled pork sandwich, as Byron would say. And would I be surprised if I found out that Charles's gate swung both ways? Not at all. Because him and Fawcett was thick as thieves. When he first started with Charles, he was only 18. And Charles had to be made to let him go after it was found out that he was extremely racist and he was aping young boys that were working in the royal household. Yes, he was doing that. And Charles still did not want to get rid of him. So this is who Charles is. When we say Charles is trash, we have receipts. And speaking of receipts, look at this. Now, Harry cannot stay at Effingham Palace. Evidently, he's not good enough, or I don't know what the reason might be. Could it be that it's too nasty to stay there? Because it's some nasty stuff has gone on in Effingham Palace. It has been defiled. It used to be a place to be revered. I mean, all kinds of famous people, dignitaries, presidents, and kings of other lands used to come and stay at Buckingham Palace. President Obama and the First Lady, Michelle Obama, stayed at Buckingham Palace. But now we know the truth. We know who has also had accommodations at Effingham Palace. The most prolific pedo of modern times stayed at Effingham Palace over 50 times. And let's not forget this. Look at this. It says Queen knew Andrew brought prostitutes into Buckingham Palace. Author says, and this squatty that posted it said, but prostitutes brought in by pedos could get accommodations. Prince Andrew says hello. Yes, they could get accommodations, but somehow Harry doesn't rank a room over there. And all of this nastiness that was going on at Buckingham Palace could be the reason why the Queen did not want to stay there anymore. It was defiled. Yes, and this place that is one of the most famous places in the United Kingdom and is at the heart of that monarchy is defiled by prostitutes and pedos. Yes. So I don't understand what the problem is, but it is definitely a problem when all of these despots can get accommodations at Effingham Palace, but Harry can't. This is a bell us squatties need to ring the whole time Harry is over there. These people need to be shamed because this is shameful. It really is. This squatty said J.E. stayed in Buckingham Palace over 50 times for over 5 years. The biggest children sex trafficker was provided with rooms, security, and accommodations in Buckingham Palace by the British royal family and the British government. Keep that thought in mind when reading about deadbeat father and grandfather and how Harry is treated. J.E. stayed in several royal palaces, including the Queen's favorite, Balmoral. Yes, so Charles is treating his son less than he treats one of the most prolific modern day pedos in modern history. But Harry has to be treated like this. Why? Because he married a black woman. Why? Because he married a woman who would not allow you to break her. Is that it? And she spoke her truth, and her truth exposed you. Is that why you so mad? And because Harry wrote a book and told the truth about how he was treated after his mother passed away, how he had been treated by the system all of his life. But he didn't hurt nobody. He was the one being hurt. Megan didn't hurt anybody. She was the one being hurt. But you have no qualms in someone who have hurt small children. And you have no problem in extending hospitality to them. To me, that just says it all about that family. I always say it and I always will say it. They're lizard people. They're not real people. They're cold blooded. This squatty said, not King Charles thinking that Princess Diana problem was over now that she was dead. He never considered that Diana had her own heir. Yes, he did not see this one coming. He thought he had Harry under control. He could use him for his shine and he could throw him just pittance. I mean, Harry was living in poverty within a wealthy family. They just wanted to use him for his labor and use him for his shine. They wanted to keep their foot on his neck. And now that Harry is standing straight and tall, they can't handle it. They cannot handle it. Charles cannot handle it, and Willie definitely cannot handle it. They cannot handle a Harry that they don't have their foot on his neck, that he's standing up straight and looking them in the eye and calling them out on their bullshit. Let me start from the beginning on this post again because this is absolutely the best. It is so delicious. This squatty says, not King Charles thinking that Princess Diana problem was over now that she was dead. He never considered that Diana had her own heir. Now he's doing everything but the right thing as he did with Diana. The good King Harry has arrived in the UK. Let the meltdown begin. Yes. And Harry is not bowing. He is not on his knees. He is standing straight, looking them in the eye and calling them out on their bullshit. And I am loving it. That statement was so delicious. It was. You cannot hide. Harry refused to allow you to hide behind your lies. He will call them out. Oh, so delicious, so delicious. Y'all tell me what y'all think. And this squatty said, now he cannot weaponize his cancer card, grandkids, or those accommodations. Something tells me Harry checkmated the old fool. Yeah, he did. Harry played this one like a pro. Because when you really give it some thought, Harry did the doggone thing. He did. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but I think Harry played this one perfectly. And I want to change gears for a minute because I want to talk about Kitty. I want to talk about this woman because she proves each and every day why I cannot stand her. I cannot take her. And I'm saying that out loud. I never thought I would say that out loud because for me, Kitty was a non factor. But after all of this stuff that has gone down, especially with Harry and Meghan, I can't stand none of them. I don't have nothing but smoke for all of them. And what she did today is another reason why I cannot stand her. You know what she did? She went to a children's hospital. And I know y'all are saying, what's wrong with that, Royal Reed? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. If you think back to Harry and Meghan releasing their itinerary of the things that they were going to do when they came to the UK, one of the engagements that they were going to do was to go to a children's hospital. Now, like I said, any other time and space, I would have been fine with Kitty going to a children's hospital. But I know who Kitty is. This is very sinister. This is Kitty throwing shots at Meghan. I can go to a children's hospital in the UK. You can't. This is what Kitty is all about. She is just that petty and evil. Now, I don't know if it's the very same hospital that Harry and Meghan said they were going to go to if Meghan came to the United Kingdom, but I wouldn't be surprised. Would anybody else be surprised if it was the same hospital? And if you're saying that you wouldn't be surprised it's the same hospital, then you're on the same page as I am. Now, I might be over my skis on this one, and y'all call me out in the comments, but this is how I see it. I see this as a shot at Meghan. And the squatty that posted about this said Kate Middleton visiting a sick child at the hospital. The boy seemed to be in pain, suffering, zero interaction with her. She seemed awkward and had the cameras on him, and he seemed bothered and agitated from her presence. Horrible. Now, I watched the video, and this little boy was pitiful. He was. You could tell that he was in pain. And he just wasn't up for the visit. You could tell. And his parents were there. And all I can say about them is I call shame on them. How can you see your baby in pain and you inviting this woman in who is not going to help anything? And all these cameras, and nobody has a mask on, and you're exposing your child to this for what? For what? Like I said, it's the parents for me. It is the parents for me. And this next squatty posted that squatty's post and said this. They would have cameras in there for ages, testing shots. She would have walked in dozens of times to get it right while this poor sick child sit there not knowing what's going on. Kate has zero empathy. Like I said, I don't blame Kate as much as I blame those parents. Here in America, they would have got DHS called on them. Yes, because why would you do that? This baby clearly is sick, clearly in pain, clearly wants to be wrapped up in the arms of its mother, and they have it sitting up in the bed. And this baby is so sick, he is not even playing with the toys. You know a child is sick. You know a child is not feeling good when they are not playing with their toys. This baby was surrounded by toys and he never even thought about playing with them. And you could see in his face he was in pain. I cannot. This is child abuse. It absolutely is. On the parents' part and on Kitty's part. How would you do this? This woman is diabolical, using this baby as a prop, and this baby is in pain. I cannot. That's the reason they were saying that she was acting awkward, because she knew what she was doing. She knows that Karma has her address over there at Forest Lodge. And one day, Karma is going to get out of her bed, put on her tight black dress, put on her red bottom stilettos, and walk all the way down that long road over there at Forest Lodge, knock on her door, and kiss her in the mouth. Because if you think you're going to get away with something like this, and Karma is not going to come knocking, whew, I don't know what to tell you. And this squatty said, the way that woman is in a deep one-sided competition with Megan needs to be studied. Girl has done nothing since January, and now since Harry and Megan's trip has been rumored and confirmed, she is everywhere. Where is the lie? And where she's at today is a children's hospital, where Megan would have been if she had came on the trip with Prince Harry. This is why Kitty is there. This is who Kitty is. She is in a one-sided competition that she can't win, because she's trying to win against the blueprint. And she lets us know each time she comes out that Megan is the blueprint. Every mannerism, everything that she does, how she wears her hair, what kind of clothes she wears, what she says, how she holds her hands, everything is Megan. And you cannot win against the blueprint, because you are the Temu version of that person. This squatty said, and took note of Kitty at Wimbledon and how she was mimicking Megan in Australia. This squatty said, notice anything? The smile, the shoulder high wave are virtually identical. The copying is exact. Yes, this is Kitty. How can you win a competition when you are playing catch up all the time because you're trying to beat the blueprint? It'll never happen. But Kitty is absolutely shameless. She is. And I can't stand her. I hate to feel that way, but I can't, because I just cannot see a person like this. I mean, you're such an empty vessel. You're so mediocre by the lowest of standards. And yet here you are, trying to cheat your way, trying to lie your way, trying to beat a woman who's not even competing with you. I cannot. And talking about competing and being a one-sided competition, I think I have figured out why Kitty did the 3-peat challenge. Yes, I've been snooping around looking at a lot of the ugly old hags, the derangers, the toadies, and the trolls account over there on X, formerly known as Twitter. And what I have been seeing is this picture right here. Now, this comes from the Harry and Meghan documentary. Harry and Meghan was going hiking. Harry said she's good going up the hill, but she can't come down the hill. Now I'm paraphrasing what Harry said, but basically what he was saying, that Meghan was not good at coming down the hill. Now, if y'all remember that video we had of Kitty, yes, the one that the hiker took, Kitty was bouncing down the hill. Yeah, she wanted everyone to know on her self-aggrandizing documentary that I am sure is coming soon. She was bouncing down the hill. Yeah, she was bouncing down the hill. And all of this was a shot at Megan. It was shot. They sit around and study Megan as if she is a college course. And they come up with this bullshit because these people are so jealous and insecure. They want to try to hone in on any weakness when it comes to Harry and Meghan and try to boost themselves and put themselves out as they're better. Because Kitty knows that she cannot beat Meghan at anything. I had one old troll on X come at me and post this very picture. And you know what I told her? Meghan may not be able to come down a hill, but Meghan was giving speeches with no notes in middle school. And Kitty, at her old age of what, 43, she can't tie together two sentences that make any sense and her not trip. That's what I told her. And I ain't hear nothing else back from her. But they are always trying to seek out some weakness when it comes to Meghan. And they came up with this. They came up with the three-peat challenge. And they came up with the idea of cheating because she cheated. And this was all about Meghan. But isn't it always? I mean, you can look back at anything that Willie and Kitty does nowadays, it all links back to Harry and Meghan. I knew it was a reason why she did this three-peat challenge. It was not about cancer. It was about Meghan trying to make herself feel somehow superior to Meghan because Meghan has a problem going downhill. Well, we'll pretend like she climbed 3 mountain peaks. Yeah, in 24 hours and drove 11 hours in between and ascended to the top and descended to the bottom with no body doubles in between. Yes, you cannot make this stuff up. Now, if I'm over my skis, like I said, call me out. But I really believe that this is what the three-peat challenge was all about. It was all about Meghan. Yes, it was all about Kitty finding something that she could be better than Meghan at. Now, y'all call me out, like I said. I might absolutely be over my skis, but I really feel that these people are just that obsessed. This squatty said if Meghan disappeared for months only to reappear with unexplained dent face and stitch marks, no amount of look that way would suffice. But hey, what do I know? Now, this post has nothing to do with anything I was talking about, but I love sticking that in because they want us not to talk about the fact that Kitty has a big scar upside her head that nobody is talking about. We know something happened. And every opportunity I get, every time I see a post, I'm sticking it in my podcast because we need to keep ringing that bell. I'm going to put this post up, and this is a post from Zanny Sussex, and she is reposting Roy Nicka. Roy Nicka broke this news, I think it was Sunday, that Charles and his horse is getting an official royal videographer. Yes, they are getting a videographer. Now, who is going to watch videos of Charles and his horse is to be determined because I don't think too many people are clamoring for that. But I digress. This is what Roy Nicka wrote. She said, "New, the king and queen are to hire an official videographer, a first for the British monarch. The successful new candidate will create on-trend digital content for Charles and Camilla in a drive to maximize their reach to global audience." Now, these people are delusional. I mean, Get real. It's no global audience is interested in Charles and his horse. But here they are, still churning out the bullshites. I cannot. People don't understand how to stay in their lane and master your lane. But here Charles is trying to venture out into someone else's lane, and he is clearly going to get his feelings hurt, him and his horse, because he is not going to get anybody to watch his videos on YouTube unless he goes and buys some bots. That's the only one that's going to run up the numbers. People are not interested in him and his horse. Now, this is what Zanny said about it. She said, laugh out loud. They just don't get it, do they? No amount of fake video reels will fix it. People see the archaic, outdated institution for what it is. They see the evil people heading it for who they are. These are the kicks of a dying horse, and I'm here for it. Me too. Yes, I am here for the kicks and giggles. Yes. And I also wanted to share this. Harry has already been out and about since he has landed in the UK. Look at this. Prince Harry attended UK premiere of Misan Harriman's Shoot the People. Yes, Misan has a new film titled Shoot the People, and I think it is about his photography. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But yes, Prince Harry was at the premiere and he was there to support his friend. And Chris Barron Smith posted this and said Prince Harry attends the UK premiere of Misan Harriman's documentary Shoot the People. Looking good, Duke. Yes, he is looking good. And this squatty is going to help me to end on a positive note. This squatty said, F Chuck, celebrate Prince Harry. Yes, let's do that. Let's celebrate Harry. Harry is off to a wonderful start. I am planning on enjoying seeing what he is going to get up to. I'm praying for his safety. And I just want him to just keep being himself because Harry is phenomenal. And I also want to show y'all my new ending. Yes, this is my new ending. I am going to end with it for a while until I get tired. And that would be Willie and Charles, the scumbag and the Judas. Yes. Charles is a scumbag and Willie is a Judas. All right, y'all. Y'all know I always enjoy my time I spend with y'all, and I will be back soon. And if you want to support the channel, so many ways to do it. You can look below, click my picture, or click those three little dots, and you should find the Super Thanks button. And also, it's a link below if you want to be a part of the reading club and be a channel member. That would be so cool. And if you don't want to have anything to do with the YouTube, scurry on over there to patreon.com and put in patreon.com/the Royal Read. And I am right over there. And I have a reading club over there. So if you want to support me over there, you can. Or you could just join for free and just stay up on whatever I am up to over there on Patreon because I'm always posting. And if you just want to buy me a coffee, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/the Royal Read and support me over there. Also, I have like PayPal, I have Cash App, and all of those links are in my bio in my YouTube channel. And if you choose to support the channel, just know it is always appreciated. I know you don't have to, And that is the reason why I appreciate it so very much when you choose to. And last but not least, don't forget to hype me up. Yes, hype your girl up. If you have the hype button, please hype up the podcast because it absolutely helps. It pushes the podcast out so it can be seen by new eyeballs, and that way our tribe will grow. So, yeah, if you have an extra hype or you hadn't hyped your girl up this week, hype it up. Come on, hype this video up. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.